My name is Isabel, and the title of my presentation is How Glee Cultivated a Generation. I chose Glee because it's not just entertainment, it's a show that shaped how I view identity, inclusion, and creativity. I started watching the show last year, and as a teenager, seeing other teenagers explore who they really were helped me embrace who I am and appreciate the differences in others. Glee had such a positive effect on my life. It inspired me to be more confident and expressive, introduced me to a lot of new music, and exposed me to important social issues like bullying, gender identity, and belonging. While watching the show, I literally paused during certain scenes just to process what was happening and talk through it out loud. What I loved most is how Glee tackled tough issues through music and fun. It taught me to see art as a form of activism and self-expression, and it made me appreciate teamwork, vulnerability, and the power of storytelling. Understanding cultivation theory. The cultivation theory, developed by George Gerber in the 1970s, explains how long-term exposure to media can shape how we perceive reality. In simple terms, the more we see something in media, the more we start believing that's how the real world works. Simply, psychology says heavy media viewers often adopt the values, attitudes, or worldviews they see portrayed repeatedly on screen. Glee is a perfect example of cultivation in action. The more I watched throughout the 6 seasons, the more I saw acceptance, individuality, and diversity being normalized. Storylines like Kurt's journey as a gay teen, Artie's life in a wheelchair, the representation of characters like Mercedes, Blaine, Brittany, all showed me that inclusion and compassion should be everyday values. As someone who grew up in Nigeria, I didn't always have the access to shows like this, and having a brother with a disability, I realized how powerful that kind of visibility can be. Seeing a character like Artie, a teenager living with a disability, being portrayed as talented, confident, and happy really meant a lot to me. People bullied him, but others stood up for him, and that gave me hope. If more people had grown up watching shows like Glee in Nigeria, maybe they'd better understand the struggles and the strengths of people with disabilities. An article from the Study Breaks magazine called Ahead of Its Time, Glee portrays what the future should look like. The author argues that Glee's mix of joy, honesty, and imperfection made it deeply relatable. Gen Z as a whole is a generation that values belonging and acceptance. While older media often excluded or stereotyped people, Glee broke those barriers. It wasn't perfect. Critics argued that it sometimes relied on harmful stereotypes and unrealistic endings, but it provided an early blueprint for inclusive media and it paved the way for newer shows like Heartstopper and Sex Education that continue those conversations. Glee reflected and reshaped society at the same time. It challenged outdated norms about gender, race, and identity, and encouraged audiences to see the world differently. One of my favorite quotes from the show is from Finn Hudson: "See the world not as it is, but as it should be." Its portrayals of empathy, forgiveness, and vulnerability influence how audiences, especially Gen Z, see the world. Really taught me that identity, friendship, and self-expression can all coexist in harmony. Through the lens of the cultivation theory, I understand now why it continues to influence how young people see the world. Its message of inclusion wrapped in good music and emotion will always be something I go back to. Because of Glee, I'm more open-minded, empathetic, and aware of how powerful media can be in shaping unity and compassion. Thank you.